And there was like a whole point where I looked in the mirror and like literally the light in the room, everything manipulated so that my image turned into like the statue of us at the Vatican, but like real, because we like have real hair and it's like me looking at me in the mirror. It was so gnarly. Anything's possible. Life is perception. It's all light. So you can, yeah, use your mind to take the split away from your body, and then you can travel to the astral realm and you can perceive stars from a totally higher vibration. And that looks like literally being in light bodies that allow you to communicate on higher levels, like I did on my birthday, and like I do anytime I'm splitting my mind from my body and communicating with spirits in that way. So entering the star, the moment we enter the star, it was like hearing music, but the music perfectly coincided with the music I'm listening to as Chase. And it's just so cool, because then I'm in there in the party having conversations. So I'm like a light body, and there's hella trees. So there's a bunch of palm trees, actually. It's like big beach vibes, because it's very light. So it's like a very light party with all these palm tree beach vibes and just a bunch of spirits just dancing and just having a good time. And we're like, whoa, and then we just go in there and like we're dancing and like we're just having like a super duper good time. And then we exit out and we're back in the darkness after like partying for so long, and then we go to another party and then we have another good time. And like this star is like, you know, also like yellow. So it was like segments of going from yellow, orange, like white, gold, like ooh, party with like hints of green, and then like the shapes are like very natural and I mean very psychedelic, of course. And just like like all these spirits like dancing and like smiling and having fun and like having conversations with them, and just like packing in so many experiences of parties. You know, like just like talking to so many spirits. It's so funny because it's just vibing, and you're just like dancing together, having an awesome time. And then Anubis and I would leave a party and travel through the universe. So travel through like the black purpleness in our mental bodies. We'd be flying and we'd be reflecting upon the party as we're going to a new party. So we're just like party hopping from star to star to star to star. But in between the stars, we're reflecting upon the parties and our experiences in there. Which honestly, it's hilarious because in college, that's honestly my favorite time of any party, is going out interacting with a bunch of spirits, but going out with a certain group of spirits that you can convene with afterwards when you're like super lit, and reflect upon the party and learn and gain a bunch of wisdom from like all the spirits that you were interacting with, and being able to communicate about what happened at the party and reflect upon it. Is just, I love that. So that was like the most fun parts of the trip. Like the parties were super fun, and they were necessary for the setup of me getting to talk deeper with Anubis. So like and that was like the main point of the party. The main point of my birthday celebration as far as this trip was getting to connect with Anubis and getting to party with him, and like getting to go to these stars, be individual inside the star, party individually, and then connect with him leaving the party. And then we're vibing outside the party, traveling to another star, and then we enter the atmosphere of that star, and then we're partying there, and then we're like hey and just hanging out, having a good time, and then we leave. And it was really cool because the conversations with him were very serious, because we just do that as far as like coming out of the parties, and like we reflect upon seeing how when spirits start having fun, when spirits want to have fun and they start connecting, it's really easy for demonic spirits, for evil spirits, for like cobalt mine, white supremacist, colonizer spirits to sit back and create thoughts and feelings and ideas around how they can make money and build structures off of how spirits have fun. And that's, of course, the white supremacist lifestyle that we're living through right now, where it's all about colonizing how spirits have fun so that you can build your own structures off of it and do your own messed up stuff. And this just the thing is, life is somatic. So with life being somatic, life is always an expression of a spirit's subconscious. So if you're living in a society that's harvesting you and cannibalizing you, they can't help but communicate it through all of their art and through their expressions. And it's like so interesting and amazing how when we would party, it's so weird. The Virgo in me wants to say it was a waste of time. The point was to connect with Anubis. I had so much fun. Why don't I feel like fun is a waste of time? It's probably because I'm perhaps so in like Tehuti mode right now. Clearly, like I was in Hermes mode, and like the whole point is like it is fun, and it set me up to be able to make it practical for it to build a structure. It's amazing how all those spirits were just partying, and Anubis and I were just reflecting upon like, yeah, isn't it wild how they're kind of just wasting their time? You know, because spirits are straight up doing that. So that's where the more we started partying, so like we were hopping from party to party, and we're having star to star to star to star, and at some point I started getting bored. Like I'm having fun because I'm with him and we're partying, but internally I'm getting bored looking back. And we were talking about that, and he knew that, and like that's the point of why we're twin flames, because he is too. Because he's like, yo, we do shit that matters, bro. You feel me? And these white supremacists, these light supremacist stars up here that are only concerned with connecting with each other and creating an echo chamber of fun, their ignorance that makes them blissful is what allows atrocities to happen in the universe, because they don't care enough to help others. So really reflecting on it, it was like a whole lesson of me learning about being Mercury, being symmetry, and the importance of like me appreciating how my spirit just is so naturally inclined to building Mercury, building a simulation, building structures that facilitate spirits to be able to more consciously, harmoniously, and happily connect with other spirits. And that's why Anubis supports me in that. And that's the point of Atlantis. Anubis creates Atlantis because Atlantis is literally about connections. And basically it just seems like Atlantis rules over the universe at that point. As far as interdimensionally, like no one can touch Atlantis in interdimensional travel. It's impossible. Actually. There's no spirits out here doing interdimensional travel like Atlantis is. And Atlantis is constantly updating it. And this is the point of life. We're all constantly updating. So our spirits have been at this. And our spirits will always be at this. And whatever limited body representation that we have of that is exactly that, meant to limit it and anchor it into whatever reality you are observing us in a grounded way. Just know we're way more infinite than you could ever possibly perceive. Straight up. And it's really awesome being able to use light to express ourselves. That's just what it's all about at that point. And that's literally, it's that simple. It's simply symmetry. To be so focused on using technology to forcibly spread genocide and enslave indigenous people, to try and figure out how to do that without natural alchemy, is disgusting. And I don't have, again, strong enough words for how disgusting that is and why I'm so passionate about what's going on here. It was a very cool birthday trip. Because after like flying through all those stars and talking to him, it was like a whole just conversations on, yeah, see how when spirits just have a bunch of fun and they're just focused on having a good time, all they want to, like, other spirits easily manipulate them. Like, you're easily manipulatable spirit when you're only focused on connecting with others and having a good time, because now you don't care how you connect with others, and now you don't care how you have a good time. So now it's easy for people to like colonize this space. It's easy for spirits who are actually like not good for you to come into your space and colonize it and actually create a situation where your ability to party and communicate is actually hurting your body and serving structures that aren't serving you. And that literally looks like what's happening physically down here, where people are partying and they want to connect with each other, but they can only do so by eating junk food and eating garbage and fast food and killing their bodies and fueling a medical system, because they're at the whim of the environment and they're not willing to do the hard hermetic thing of connecting with themselves and increasing their ST ability, stabilizing their snakes into their own spine. So after all those parties, Anubis took me to his esoteric home, and it was so lit because it was like after that we flew and it was like getting to be lighter purple, and then I stepped into, because it's like stepping, it's like a mind like touching down then, because it's literally just atmospheres, right? Like touching down, going up, like twisting, turning, going places. It's so cool. Because it's literally atmospheres, your mental awareness, to just fly, to let your intentions and feelings carry you. So then like we touched down into like it's like a cave in the side of a mountain, and then that mountain there's like aurora borealis on the outside, and it's just like super colorful, super cosmic astral realm outside, but we're inside a cave. But it's like a situation like you would see in a National Geographic magazine, or just one of those like super awesome nature magazines where you see a hollowed out cave, and inside this cave it's super lush, like on some if Aladdin was a millionaire and he stayed in his little cubby and decked it out, but in the side of a cave type vibe. It was so lit. And it was definitely like taking a little magic carpet ride there. So shout out DMT and Aladdin doing the magic carpet ride and taking Jasmine for a magic carpet ride. That's all DMT. Straight up. Shout out Aladdin. Do you trust me? Hell yeah. Love you, Anubis. So then we just touched down and we're just like talking. And we're just like vibing. And honestly, we talked about a lot of things that I don't have to get into because it's already like details and stuff. Because there's still more to get into with the story of Hermanubis, I suppose, and wrapping it up. But more so, those are personal details that are twin flame things. We talked about a lot of twin flame things, and I'll cry. I was so overjoyed. And he's literally just, it was amazing. He's telling me about past lives. So then when I came back, I was given the gift for my birthday of learning from me about myself from my dog. And just like now getting to communicate about it. Now here we are building the symmetry. Pretty neat. So, and now the sun's coming up. There it is. Do I have water, bro? So the point of the symmetry, of course, is Mercury. It is to relay the message of how you as a spirit create life by connecting with yourself. And life is just the physical structures that express your imagination. And that comes out of you being alone. Now, if you don't connect with yourself by being alone, then you're going to consume the structures that other spirits created by being alone. So it's playing out regardless. Yeah, so that birthday trip, very neat. Because after all of that, then I like came back into my body and opened my eyes, became aware of this world again, and got to talk with my friend about the experience and process it, and then talk to another friend, and it was very neat. So the whole point of me as a spirit, as Irisel, is that I've learned how to triple my C, triple my communication ability by connecting my Mercury with Atlantis. And by connecting with Atlantis, basically like this, and now let me just go back in history, I guess, a little intuitively, because that was the whole point of me as Chikatet learning in Atlantis. I low-key am going to say from Anubis, because he's kind of my ancestor in that regard, even though he considers me his god. This is why we have such an amazing relationship, because it's like he's older than me. He's old. He's incredibly old. He's true. I mean, he created Atlantis. He creates Atlantis. He's the god of the dead. He's constantly out here making connections. So he literally creates Atlantis, and he considers me the god of air and earth. That's where I consider him the god of fire and water. He is the one who connects me to the universe. He is my dog. I love to be alone, but my thing is, I love being alone so much, I'll just stay alone forever. And Anubis is, honestly, I'm going to start crying. Anubis he always teaches me the importance of family. I love you so much, Anubis. It's so cool. I have to call my mom. I already talked to her yesterday. I have to talk to people. Anubis just shows me like the importance of water. I have no water in my chart, all right? So, and I'm an emotional person, but I'm like practically emotional, and that's why he picks me. That's why Anubis loves me so much. Just because I logically choose to be practically emotional about all spirits that aren't me, because I feel like that's right. Like, that's just it. I feel like you being an individual, you being an infinite individual alone in your space is proper, because then when I reflect upon the universe and I'm able to see everything from my simulation of Mercury, then the simulations that spirits create from being happy, being alone, will just express that, instead of all this spiritual warfare that we have. Because all this spiritual warfare is insanely unnecessary. It is only ever coming from the root of a spirit not being happy alone in their space. It's only ever that. That's always the root of this spiritual warfare, and breaking anyone's consent. And so it's just like, then I feel like you're emotionally dumb if you're not happy being alone in your space. And that's just basically it, right? Like, you have no emotional intelligence. You're emotionally chaotic. Thus, you are a consumptive spirit. You're not creative. You're not artistic. You're probably going to become a white supremacist, because now you're going to want to use the creations that you've consumed to continuously colonize more spirits' creations. And then that's going to look like slavery and genocide and everything that we're dealing with in this physical reality that's super horrible, that I am very angry about. So, like, the whole point is life gets like this when spirits aren't aware or aren't happy alone, and it becomes a chronic problem of spirits not being happy alone. So when spirits are chronically not happy alone, right? Now they're just all consuming each other's attention. And then you get the toxic form of a star, where instead of spirits like partying together, they're just going to war together. But because they don't know how to connect with themselves, they would rather fight each other than be alone and love themselves, because their form of loving themselves is fighting other spirits. It's interesting. Me as a spirit making a body in Atlantis a long time ago and just getting connected through Atlantis is what has allowed me to triple my C and become the cosmic chi conductor. It was in a very wild acid trip when I went back home with the 3 gold pyramids, the 3 orange pyramid tabs, that Atlantis, Anubis, and the death spirits all came to me in like light bodies, and they're like, you are not projecting, we are here communicating to you about you, you are you. Because I was still just like having weird ego stuff of like, am I really Thoth? Because all the ego conditioning of this world. And I just had to keep asking that question, and they literally taken all these bodies. It was a whole council meeting. They were like, you're triple C. We call you the cosmic chi conductor. I'm like, oh shit. I can't run from this. I just feel more powered now. You're my dog. It's so lit. So, love you, Max. So, it was like big time in that trip where I'm like, okay, yes, I'm building in this lifetime upon past lifetimes. I get it. That's the point. I'm Triple C. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway. I'm the cosmic chi conductor. So, they're choosing me, symmetry as a champion of nature, to be the cosmic chi conductor, which is what the Caduceus represents and what your spine represents. That's me. When I come in with my Caduceus, I'm using it to relay the message of how you as a spirit are using your spine, you're using your own body to stabilize your ability to express your infinite nothingness. And that is like your baseline of alchemy right there. So this is why the spine is very important to me, just organically as Chase. Get into Decolonize Your Face. If you're not in Decolonize Your Face, get that spine right. Get that spine right. The spine's everything. Straight up. We've been sitting so much. I know you've been sitting. And looking down. Everyone's got a phone. Humans are not looking up anymore. Humans are now looking down in this wave of planet Earth. Alright, this is why I'm here, because this wave is like so massive. It's comedy, it's wild. But again, it's just spirits being spirits. Alright, there's so many spirits at those parties. There's at that point, numbers are like, you can't quantify it in terms of that. It's way more esoteric, than that. In terms of like quality and quantity. But whatever. Really just individuality. And you just being yourself. That simple. So, through Atlantis, then Anubis and I go ahead. We build Egypt. We build the pyramids. We take Atlantis interdimensional. Because that's what it means as far as Atlantis being underwater and like going underwater. It is really realizing that everything in the universe, that is, because everything that's Earth is less connected by water. So the ultimate interdimensional technology is your mind. And any technology that you can build with your mind that's in vibrational resonance with the universe in like a high way will allow you to go interdimensional and create higher simulations that then allow you to create connections in lower, denser simulations. And then this would be like consciously using one's ability to raise one's awareness into the higher reality to build life from the top down, like a pyramid and everything. So right. Because with everything being underwater, literally life is vibrational. So we're talking about like high vibrational technology that allows you to communicate versus low vibrational technology. So if you have low vibrational technology, then you're just going to be in like a really dense watery atmosphere, and you're going to be kind of working against yourself, versus high vibrational technology where you're just more in resonance with your spirit based on how you want to connect with other spirits, and that allows you to quote unquote go interdimensional based on what you build from there. So Atlantis went interdimensional, and Egypt was about bringing that to Earth, literally. So Atlantis, we're already water, we're already here, we're doing our thing, we're coming out, we're indigenous, it's all nature, it's natural, boom boom, you know, love nature. And from there we realize that the interdimensional technology that allows us to truly communicate however we want is our minds. So Atlantis is literally us being like purely in our water element. So all of us are like just basically we're just connecting, and we're naturally creating connections because we naturally connect with ourselves. So that's what it means to be indigenous in that way, just to naturally create your connections, naturally connect with other spirits based on how you connect with yourself. And that's what naturally creates nature and life. And from there, we create our minds. So I literally tripled my C inside of that water, created my Caduceus, became Chase Clarence Calloway, stabilized my spine, and then became known as Thoth, the Atlantean, or Tehuti. And from there, by using my mind, I'm able to travel up from the water and build pyramids from the top down. So then that's how like it would play out in an atmosphere form, as far as like the water being dense, fluid. Spirits who are just focused on connecting, they are lost. And not lost, but they're just reacting to each other in like in a dense vibe, versus a spirit who can triple his C. If he can trip C, realize that life is trippy, go psychedelic, and make 3 times 3 equal 9, and have that high 9-dimensional perspective, now he can actually see life from the top down and build structures that help everyone instead of trying to work from the bottom up. And then that would be like building pyramids of ascension. So that's what Egypt is. That's how I built the pyramids. And then that's how, of course, I had like a very specific, powerful squad of women who were all hermetically, somatically trained and cleansed and prepared to then help me build these structures. And that's how I built the pyramids throughout Egypt, and then built everything in Teotihuacan, Mesoamerica, and just built everything in general. Because then it's about me being Tehuti. So realizing as Chase is the water, Hermes is the air, Tehuti is the earth. So me as a spirit, as Iracel, as the nothingness, making an imagination, I connect it by chasing my desire to teach wisdom, which results in, right, Chase, the water, results in Hermes, because Chase communicates his imagination into the water that looks like Hermes flying out into simulations, and then inside that simulation that turns into me, quote unquote, I mean, but it's all me, of course, right? But it turns into me as Thoth, Tehuti, being the one who's actually building the pyramid, being the one who's actually building the structure. So these are all then just like expressions of what I'm doing simultaneously at any moment. And Symmetry is a superhero that combines all that, because Chase doesn't like this white supremacy wave, and he's gone through experiences that has made him create something that he can believe in over all the stuff that is trying to colonize his mind. And by creating this thing that he can believe in, now here he is learning way more about himself than he thought possible. Even like, 4 years ago? 3 years ago. Not even 2 years ago. So, it was from there that now we create life consciously. And these are the roles, and these are like the titles that have then been instilled throughout history. Now you can like Google all these things and like see, everything will make way more sense, right? Now that I've explained it like this, because it's elementally, that's how it's charted out. So Atlantis has developed even stronger, because the more Egypt developed, the more Atlantis developed. It's not the fall of Atlantis. Atlantis goes interdimensional, and then I'm bringing Atlantis to Earth by making Egypt. And then that also allows Atlanteans and people in Earth to work from the bottom up, because we make bodies to experience life from the bottom up, because we're creating life from the top down to experience it from the bottom up, of course. Yeah, so from there, building Teotihuacan, then it's just Anubis and I are just out here building. And honestly, like, that's it. Like, now, what you being here with me is literally continuously building what we do. So that's where you can look up everything on Google and just see that the whole white supremacist society that we're living in, the Vatican especially, they're all obsessed with colonizing and consuming and trying to twist the things that we've created to serve them. So that's why things are happening the way that they are. Because it's like wild, and the vibration's like very chaotic for you to be wanting to do things in this way. Pretty wild. So this is why I've been called here. This is why I'm building this. This is why I've been talking for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Because it's straight up about getting the record straight, actually. Like, it's about getting the truth out. And now I get to learn about myself from the truth. Otherwise, I'm lost in a lie. Otherwise, I believe I'm Chase Clarence Calloway based on what the government labeled me. And now I'm stuck in a home. I'm stuck in the infinite 8 vibe that everyone else is trapped in. And I think not. I think it's important for me to connect with my nothingness and know I'm a spirit, so I know I'm always creating heaven, and that's going to naturally be the expression of me. So now I'm always actually in vibrational resonance with who I am before, because I'm not getting lost in the vibe of being told who I am. I'm connecting with myself to listen to who I am. And I've gone through too many experiences of flying around outside of this universe where all these other simulations, like, it is so clear cut that I am who I am. I'm like very much acknowledged as this spirit. So, I mean, it's hilarious because its confidence has to be here as far as me coming back from all these experiences, and then dealing with people like, no, well, you're not really this spirit, or else you'd change this. Like, well, no, you're just lost in wanting to be saved again. You want me to do something that would interrupt the vibe of everything that we got going on. Right now, we are communicating in a grounded way, because that's the point of life. So if you're not willing to listen to me communicate to you, and instead you just want me to transform reality in a way that would serve you, but also then would make me reactive to you, and you just want things to be changed in ways that you won't change them for yourself, you're just showing me how weak of a spirit you are. So, shout out Anubis. I, as Mercury, build simulations alone. and Anubis is the water that rains upon them so spirits can create life in the simulation, because he believes in how I triple my C. So thank you, Anubis. You're very awesome. Because it's just all elemental. It's all about how you resonate with certain emotions and how that then plays out in you literally living out a physical kind of lifestyle than other spirits. Literally. Because of course you got to have balance in life. So whatever elements you resonate with as a spirit, as we've talked about before, you're going to have to literally have a balance of that element. So with me being so much earth, that's why I have water in my life, because earth and water is what creates life. So I build structures, right? So I'm building this earth, but earth is separate from everything else. So me being a Taurus and a Virgo, it's all inside of a Gemini space, right? So my Gemini space is infinitely connected to the universe through communication. That's why Anubis then comes in as my water, my dog, my connector, and as the god of the dead, brings souls, brings spirits, brings connections, rains them down into the simulation, so that then we can all stabilize the way that we connect, because water is very chaotic. So this is literally our synchronistic psychopompic psychedelic role. As far as me building structures that he then gets spirits connected to so that we can get life popping. And then he also facilitates connections around me, because as Hermanubis, that's how we kind of just operate as far as a business. When I get called out of my space and it's a situation like this, where there are situations that outside of myself that I can't control, I at the very least have like my special guy. Like Anubis is like my man outside the simulation, literally, who then has me connected to the whole operation, and I can just like tap into our operation, and it's truly like some cosmic spy stuff at that point. So it's like that level of being able to communicate with him and facilitate how I'm communicating with the simulation, and him being able to relay messages and everything and manipulate reality around me straight up, based on how he's able to connect with spirits that are building the simulation in a way that I consciously can't, because he's literally working from the astral realm, whereas I'm here experiencing the result of what is being created from the astral realm, which is the physical simulation. Because again, we are all spirits first creating the astral realm before we create the simulation. It's just about where are we mainly operating right now, and what degree of vibration are we mainly operating in. This has been the Mind of Mercury. Much love to you. I hope you enjoyed this story of Hermanubis and getting to hear a little bit of the history of Earth from the man himself, Hermes Trismegistus. Gang gang.